Michael's alarm clock blared at 5:30 a.m., a jarring start to another hectic day. He slapped the snooze button, wishing he could stay in bed just a little longer, but Lily would be awake soon. Being a single dad was a juggling act, a constant effort to balance work, bills, and being there for his bright, bubbly daughter. He worked as a construction foreman, a demanding job that often kept him late. It was a good job, providing for Lily, but the long hours made it difficult to be the kind of dad he wanted to be. He felt a pang of guilt as he remembered Lily's disappointed face last week when he missed her school play. Lily, his 10-year-old daughter, was his world. She was a ray of sunshine, always eager to learn and full of infectious laughter. He cherished their time together, reading stories, playing games, or simply talking about their day. But lately, he sensed a growing unease in her, a subtle worry that he wouldn't be there when she needed him. He dragged himself out of bed, the thought of Lily's smile his motivation. He needed to make today count, to show her that even though things were tough, she was always his priority. Today was parent-teacher conference day, and he was determined to be on time no matter what. He knew how important it was to her. He just hoped his boss wouldn't throw him any last-minute curveballs. Lily skipped into the kitchen, her bright pink backpack bouncing against her back. Her smile could light up a room, and Michael always felt a surge of love seeing her so full of life. She was in 4th grade and absolutely loved school. Math was her favorite. She always said numbers made sense, unlike some people. "Morning, Dad," she chirped, grabbing a banana from the fruit bowl. "Big day today. I can't wait for you to meet Ms. Evans. She says I'm doing great in reading." Michael ruffled her hair. "I wouldn't miss it for the world, sweetie. I'm so proud of you." He tried to sound confident, but a knot of anxiety tightened in his stomach. He knew Lily was worried about him being late again. He'd noticed her drawing pictures of families with both parents, a subtle hint that she missed having a mom around. He tried his best to fill both roles, but he knew it wasn't the same. He had promised her he'd be on time for the conference. He saw the hope in her eyes, the little spark of expectation. He couldn't let her down. As Lily ate her breakfast, she glanced at the clock. "Dad, what time are you leaving work today?" she asked, her voice a little too casual. "As early as I can, Peanut," he replied, giving her a reassuring wink. "I promise." He hoped that promise was one he could keep. He watched her walk to the bus stop, her small frame radiating optimism. He knew he had to do everything in his power to protect that spirit. The morning started smoothly enough. Michael arrived at the construction site on time, ready to tackle the day. He even managed to call Ms. Evans, Lily's teacher, to confirm the conference time, 3:30 p.m. He felt a wave of relief. He could do this. But then disaster struck. Around lunchtime, his boss, Mr. Henderson, called him into his office. Mr. Henderson, a gruff man with a booming voice, rarely smiled. Today was no exception. "Michael, we have a problem," he announced, his voice laced with urgency. "The blueprints for the Johnson project are wrong. Terribly wrong." Michael's heart sank. The Johnson project was a big one, crucial for the company's reputation. "What do you mean wrong?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. "The measurements are off. The structural integrity is compromised. The whole thing needs to be reevaluated," Mr. Henderson explained, pacing the room. "And we need it done by tomorrow morning. The client is breathing down my neck." He looked directly at Michael. "You're the best foreman we have. I need you to stay late, work with the team, and fix this. I know it's last minute, but this is critical." Michael's mind raced. Tomorrow morning? He glanced at his watch. 12:47 p.m. Parent-teacher conferences started in just over 3 hours. He was trapped. He knew what he had to do, but the thought of disappointing Lily was crushing him. He mumbled, "I'll do my best, Mr. Henderson." The afternoon was a blur of numbers, calculations, and frustrated sighs. Michael and his team huddled around the revised blueprints, poring over every detail. The pressure was immense, the atmosphere thick with tension. Each mistake felt like a personal failure. Another minute ticking away, further distancing him from Lily's conference. He kept glancing at the clock, his anxiety growing with each passing minute. He sent a quick text to Lily. "Running late, Peanut. We'll be there ASAP. Love you." He hated sending it, knowing it was a poor substitute for being there on time. He could almost picture Lily sitting in the classroom, her smile fading as she waited for him. He imagined Ms. Evans, kind and understanding, but also concerned about Lily's well-being. The guilt gnawed at him. He was letting them both down. He pushed himself harder, fueled by caffeine and regret. He delegated tasks, double-checked calculations, and tried to keep the team focused. He knew they were all tired and stressed, but he couldn't afford to let them falter. The Johnson project, the company's reputation, and Lily's happiness all rested on his shoulders. As the clock ticked past 4 p.m., Michael knew he was in trouble. The conference was already underway. He had to make a decision. He couldn't abandon the project, but he also couldn't bear the thought of completely missing Lily's special day. He decided to leave the team in charge for an hour, promising to return as soon as possible. He raced out of the office, his heart pounding with a mixture of urgency and dread. Michael burst through the doors of Lily's elementary school, his chest heaving, his hair disheveled. He scanned the hallway, his eyes darting from classroom to classroom. The school was eerily quiet. Most of the lights were off, and the only sounds were the distant echoes of cleaning staff. He checked his watch. 4:35 p.m. He was over an hour late. A wave of shame washed over him. He had failed. Again. He hurried down the hallway, his footsteps echoing in the emptiness. He finally found Lily's classroom, room 204. The door was slightly ajar. He peeked inside. The room was empty except for Ms. Evans, who was tidying up her desk. He pushed the door open further. "Ms. Evans?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Ms. Evans looked up, a mixture of surprise and understanding on her face. "Michael, I'm so glad you could make it, even though it's quite late." Michael walked into the room, his head bowed. "I am so sorry," he stammered, running a hand through his hair. "Work. It was a disaster. I tried everything I could to get here sooner." He looked around the empty classroom, his heart sinking. Is she still here?" Ms. Evans shook her head gently. "She waited for a while, but I told her I would call you and explain. She went to the after-school program." She paused, her expression thoughtful. "Michael, we need to talk." Ms. Evans gestured for Michael to sit down. He sank into one of the small chairs, feeling like a scolded child. "Michael," she began, her voice gentle but firm. "Lily is a wonderful student. She's bright, engaged, and a joy to have in class. Academically, she's thriving." Michael nodded, relief washing over him momentarily. At least she was doing well in school. "However," Ms. Evans continued, her brow furrowing slightly, "I am a little concerned about her emotional well-being. Lately, she seems withdrawn. She still participates in class, but I've noticed she's less enthusiastic, less sparkly." Michael's heart sank again. "I know," he said quietly. "I've noticed it too. I've been working so much." "It's understandable," Ms. Evans said, her tone sympathetic. "But children are very perceptive. Lily sees how hard you work, but she also feels the disappointment when you can't be there. The constant lateness, the missed events, it takes a toll." She paused, choosing her words carefully. "She needs you, Michael, not just as a provider but as a present, reliable parent. I worry that if this continues, it will affect her self-esteem and her overall happiness." Her words hit Michael hard. He knew she was right. He was so focused on providing for Lily that he was neglecting her emotional needs. He looked at Ms. Evans, his eyes filled with remorse. "I don't know what to do," he confessed. "I feel like I'm failing her." Just as Michael was about to respond, a voice interrupted them. "Michael? Ms. Evans? Excuse me." Principal Thompson stood in the doorway, her expression kind and thoughtful. Michael had always been a little intimidated by her. She was a tall woman with a commanding presence, but she also had a reputation for being fair and compassionate. "I hope I'm not interrupting," she said, stepping into the classroom. "I couldn't help but overhear your conversation. Michael, would you mind stepping into my office for a moment? I have something I'd like to discuss with you." Michael's stomach dropped. What had he done? Was he in trouble? Was Lily in trouble? He glanced at Ms. Evans, who gave him a reassuring nod. "Go ahead, Michael," she said. "I'll be here when you're done." He followed Principal Thompson out of the classroom and down the hallway to her office. The office was warm and inviting, with bookshelves lining the walls and colorful artwork displayed throughout the room. But Michael was too nervous to appreciate the decor. Principal Thompson gestured for him to sit in one of the chairs in front of her desk. He sat down, feeling like he was about to be called to the principal's office for misbehaving. Even though he was a grown man, he wondered what this was all about. He just hoped it wasn't bad news about Lily. Principal Thompson leaned back in her chair, her gaze steady and reassuring. "Michael," she began, "I want to start by saying that I understand how difficult it can be to balance work and family, especially as a single parent." Michael shifted uncomfortably in his seat, unsure of where this was going. "I've observed you, Michael," she continued. "At school events, during drop-off and pick-up, I see how dedicated you are to Lily. You always make an effort to be involved, even when I know you're stretched thin." A wave of relief washed over Michael. She wasn't angry. She wasn't going to scold him. "I also appreciate how hard you work to provide for Lily," Principal Thompson added. "It's clear that you prioritize her well-being. I know it can't be easy juggling everything on your own." She paused, her expression softening. "I know that being late today wasn't intentional. Ms. Evans explained that you had a work emergency. We all have those days." Michael let out a small sigh of relief. It felt good to be understood, to have someone acknowledge his efforts. He still felt guilty about disappointing Lily, but Principal Thompson's words gave him a glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, things could get better. He waited, wondering what she was going to say next. He had a feeling this wasn't just about offering words of comfort. Principal Thompson took a deep breath, her expression becoming more serious. "Michael, I'm going to be frank with you. We have a problem here at the school." Michael's anxiety returned. What was it this time? "Our after-school program is struggling," Principal Thompson explained. "We've had a difficult time finding a reliable leader. Several people have started, but they haven't been able to commit long-term. It's been disruptive for the children, and frankly, it's putting a strain on our resources." She paused, looking directly at Michael. "We need someone who is responsible, caring, and dedicated to the well-being of our students. Someone who can create a safe and engaging environment for them after school." Michael listened intently, wondering why she was telling him all this. He had no experience in childcare. He was a construction foreman, not a teacher. "The program is vital for many of our families," Principal Thompson continued. "It provides a safe place for children to go while their parents are working. It offers homework help, enrichment activities, and a sense of community." She sighed. "We've tried advertising, reaching out to local organizations, but we haven't had any luck. We're desperate to find someone who can take charge and provide stability for our students." Michael started to suspect where this conversation was heading. An uneasy feeling settled in his stomach. Principal Thompson leaned forward, her eyes sparkling with a mixture of hope and determination. "Michael," she said, her voice softening, "I have a proposal for you." Michael's eyebrows shot up. He braced himself, completely unsure of what to expect. "We know you're a hard worker, and we see how much you care about Lily," Principal Thompson continued. "We also know you're struggling to balance work and family. So, we were thinking, what if you became our after-school program leader?" Michael stared at her, speechless. "Me?" he finally managed to stammer. "But I don't have any experience." "You have life experience, Michael," Principal Thompson countered. "You're responsible, you're dependable, and you clearly care about children. We're willing to provide training and support. We believe you have the potential to be a great leader for our program." She paused, letting her words sink in. "And here's the best part. If you take the job, Lily can attend the after-school program for free. Plus, we can offer you more flexible hours, so you can be there for her when she needs you." Michael was stunned. It was a crazy idea, completely out of left field. But the more he thought about it, the more appealing it sounded. More time with Lily, less stress about childcare. A chance to make a real difference in the lives of other children. It was almost too good to be true. But could he really do it? Leave his secure job and embark on a completely new career path? He swallowed hard, his mind racing. I don't know what to say," he stammered. "I need time to think about it." "I understand your hesitation, Michael," Principal Thompson said, sensing his uncertainty. "It's a big decision, and it's natural to feel overwhelmed." Michael ran a hand through his hair, his mind still reeling. "It's just, I already feel like I'm drowning in responsibility. I don't know if I can handle adding more to my plate." "But think about what you'd be gaining," Principal Thompson urged gently. "More time with Lily, a more predictable schedule, and a chance to be a positive influence on other children. And you wouldn't be doing it alone. We would provide you with all the training and support you need." She leaned forward, her voice filled with sincerity. "We believe in you, Michael. We see your potential. We know you can do this." "But what if I fail?" Michael asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "What if I'm not good at it?" "Everyone makes mistakes, Michael," Principal Thompson said with a warm smile. "It's part of learning and growing. We're not expecting you to be perfect. We just want someone who cares and is willing to try." She stood up and walked around her desk, placing a hand on Michael's shoulder. "We'll be here to guide you every step of the way. Ms. Evans is a wonderful resource, and I'm always available to offer advice and support. You won't be alone in this." Her words were comforting, reassuring. Michael started to feel a glimmer of hope, a sense that maybe, just maybe, this crazy idea could actually work. He still had doubts, but Principal Thompson's unwavering support was giving him the confidence to consider it seriously. He knew he had a big decision to make, one that could change his life and Lily's forever. As Michael pondered Principal Thompson's offer, a memory flickered in his mind. A scene from a life he'd almost forgotten. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Flashback. The summer sun beat down on the community park. Michael, much younger, maybe 20 years old, stood surrounded by a group of energetic children. He was volunteering at a summer camp for underprivileged kids. He wasn't leading the camp. He was just helping out, organizing games and activities. He remembered feeling a bit awkward at first, unsure how to connect with the kids. But it didn't take long for him to find his groove. He had a natural ability to make them laugh, to listen to their stories, to understand their fears and their dreams. He recalled one shy little boy, named Alex, who refused to participate in any of the activities. Michael sat with him, patiently drawing pictures in the sand, telling silly jokes, and slowly, Alex began to open up. By the end of the week, Alex was running around with the other kids, laughing and playing, his face beaming with joy. Michael remembered the feeling of satisfaction, the sense of making a real difference in a child's life. He had a knack for understanding kids, for connecting with them on their level. He could turn any situation into a fun and engaging experience. He'd almost forgotten that part of himself, the part that thrived on helping others, the part that found joy in working with children. The construction site had been a far cry from that, a world of steel and concrete, far removed from the laughter and innocence of childhood. End flashback. The memory faded, leaving Michael with a renewed sense of purpose. Maybe Principal Thompson was right. Maybe he did have something to offer. Maybe he could do this. Later that evening, after Lily had finished her homework and they were sharing a simple dinner of spaghetti and meatballs, Michael decided to broach the subject. He watched Lily carefully, trying to gauge her mood. She seemed a little quieter than usual, still a bit disappointed about him missing most of her conference. "Hey, Peanut," he began, his voice gentle. "I had a really interesting conversation with Principal Thompson today." Lily looked up, her eyes filled with curiosity. "About what?" Michael took a deep breath. She She offered me a job. Lily's eyes widened. A job at the school? Doing what? Leading the after-school program, Michael explained, watching her reaction closely. It would mean I'd be working here with you, and you could attend the program for free. Lily's face lit up like a Christmas tree. Really, Dad? You mean it? You'd be working here? With me? Michael smiled, relieved by her enthusiasm. That's the idea. But it would be a big change for me. I'd have to leave my job at the construction site. It's a big decision. But Dad, Lily exclaimed, that would be amazing. We could spend so much more time together. You could help me with my homework, and we could play games after school. She jumped up from her chair and threw her arms around him, hugging him tightly. Please, Dad, please say yes. It would be the best thing ever. Michael hugged her back, feeling a surge of love and gratitude. Her reaction made his decision so much easier. He knew he had to do it for her. Okay, Peanut, he said, his voice filled with emotion. I'll do it. I'll take the job. Lily squealed with delight, jumping up and down. Yay, you're the best dad ever. Michael laughed, his heart overflowing with happiness. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but with Lily by his side, he was ready for anything. He knew this was the right decision. The next morning, Michael walked into Principal Thompson's office, a mix of excitement and trepidation swirling within him. He was ready to make it official. Good morning, Michael, Principal Thompson said, her smile warm and welcoming. Have you made a decision? Michael took a deep breath. Yes, I have. I'd like to accept the position of after-school program leader. Principal Thompson's face lit up with joy. That's wonderful, Michael. I'm so glad to hear it. I know you're going to be great. They discussed the details of the job, the hours, the responsibilities, the training. Michael learned he would be working with a small group of children, helping them with their homework, organizing activities, and ensuring their safety. He would start the following week, giving him time to wrap things up at the construction site and prepare for his new role. He gave his notice to Mr. Henderson, who was surprisingly understanding. As Michael walked out of Principal Thompson's office, a sense of both relief and anxiety washed over him. He was excited about the opportunity to spend more time with Lily, to have a more predictable schedule, and to make a difference in the lives of other children. But he was also nervous about leaving his comfort zone, about taking on a new challenge, about potentially failing. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but he was determined to make it work. He had Lily's support, Principal Thompson's encouragement, and a newfound sense of purpose. He was ready to embark on this new chapter, to embrace the unknown, and to create a better life for himself and his daughter. He couldn't wait to tell Lily the good news. They were in this together. Michael's first week as the after-school program leader was a whirlwind. He quickly learned that managing a group of energetic children was a lot different than managing a construction site. There were days when he felt overwhelmed, exhausted, and completely out of his depth. He struggled with the paperwork, the lesson plans, and the constant demands for attention. He missed the familiar routine of his old job, the predictability of steel and concrete. He wondered if he had made a mistake. But then, there were moments of pure joy, moments that reminded him why he had taken the job in the first place. He saw the smiles on the children's faces as they learned new things, as they played together, as they felt safe and cared for. He brought new ideas to the program, things he remembered from his own childhood. Building forts, telling stories around a campfire, a pretend one, of course, organizing games and activities that encouraged teamwork and creativity. He connected with the children in a way that the previous leaders hadn't. He listened to their problems, he encouraged their dreams, and he made them feel valued and important. He remembered Alex from the summer camp, and he realized that every child just needed someone to believe in them. Lily thrived in the program, her smile brighter than ever. She loved having her dad close by, and she enjoyed helping him with the activities. She became a role model for the other children, a kind and supportive friend. Slowly but surely, Michael found his footing. He learned from his mistakes, he sought advice from Ms. Evans and Principal Thompson, and he discovered his own unique style of leadership. He was no longer just a construction foreman, he was a mentor, a role model, a friend. He was making a difference, and that's what mattered most. A few weeks into Michael's new role, Ms. Evans approached him after school, a warm smile gracing her face. "Michael," she said, "I wanted to tell you how much of a difference I've seen in Lily." Michael's heart fluttered with anticipation. "Really? What do you mean?" "She's like a different child," Ms. Evans explained. "She's happier, more engaged, and more focused in class. She's back to her old self, that bright, bubbly girl we all know and love." Michael felt a surge of pride and relief. He had been so worried about letting Lily down, about not being a good enough father. But now he was seeing the positive impact of his decision firsthand. "She used to seem a little withdrawn, a little worried," Ms. Evans continued. "But now she's confident and carefree. She participates more in class discussions, she's more willing to take risks, and she's even helping other students who are struggling." She paused, her expression thoughtful. "I think having you around more, knowing that you're there for her, has made all the difference in the world. She feels secure and loved. It's truly remarkable." Michael felt tears welling up in his eyes. He had been so focused on providing for Lily that he had forgotten about the importance of simply being present, of showing her that he cared. "Thank you, Ms. Evans," he said, his voice choked with emotion. "Your words mean the world to me. I'm just trying to be the best dad I can be." "You're doing a wonderful job, Michael," Ms. Evans assured him. "Lily is lucky to have you." As he watched Lily playing with her friends on the playground, her laughter echoing through the air, Michael knew he had made the right decision. He was finally giving her what she needed most: his time, his attention, and his unwavering love. Inspired by the positive changes he was seeing in Lily and the other children, Michael decided to organize a special project for the after-school program, something that would involve the entire school community. He wanted to create an event that would bring everyone together, celebrate their creativity, and foster a sense of belonging. He came up with the idea of building a community garden on a vacant patch of land behind the school. It would be a place where students, teachers, parents, and community members could come together to grow flowers, vegetables, and herbs. He presented his idea to Principal Thompson, who was immediately enthusiastic. She gave him the green light and offered her full support. Michael then gathered the children in the after-school program and asked for their input. They were thrilled with the idea and eager to get involved. Together, they designed the garden, planned the layout, and chose the plants they wanted to grow. Michael used his construction skills to build raised beds and pathways, while the children helped with planting, weeding, and watering. He reached out to local businesses for donations of soil, seeds, and tools. He organized workshops for parents and community members to teach them about gardening techniques. He created a sign-up sheet for volunteers to help maintain the garden over the summer. The project quickly gained momentum, attracting attention from the local media and generating excitement throughout the school community. Everyone was eager to contribute, to be a part of something special, to create a beautiful and thriving space that they could all enjoy. Michael had never felt so connected to the school, to the children, to the community. He was finally home. The grand opening of the community garden was a resounding success. The entire school community turned out for the event, eager to celebrate their collective achievement. The sun shone brightly, the flowers bloomed vibrantly, and the air was filled with laughter and excitement. Michael beamed with pride as he watched the children lead tours of the garden, explaining the different plants and their growing habits. Parents and teachers mingled, sharing gardening tips and admiring the colorful display. Local news reporters interviewed Michael and Principal Thompson, highlighting the positive impact of the project on the school and the community. The garden was more than just a collection of plants. It was a symbol of unity, cooperation, and creativity. It was a place where everyone felt welcome, valued, and connected. It was a testament to Michael's leadership, his ability to inspire others, and his unwavering commitment to making a difference. Principal Thompson praised Michael for his vision, his dedication, and his ability to bring the community together. She recognized his natural talent for working with children, his creativity in developing engaging activities, and his exceptional leadership skills. The community garden project showcased Michael's hidden talents, talents that had been dormant for years, hidden beneath the surface of his demanding construction job. He had discovered a new passion, a new purpose, and a new sense of fulfillment. He was no longer just a construction foreman. He was a community leader, a role model, and an inspiration to others. He had finally found his calling. He was exactly where he was meant to be. A few weeks after the successful community garden opening, Principal Thompson called Michael into her office. He walked in, a little nervous, wondering if he had done something wrong. "Michael, please sit down," Principal Thompson said, her smile warm and genuine. "I wanted to talk to you about your future here at the school." Michael sat down, his heart pounding in his chest. "I've been so impressed with everything you've accomplished since you joined us," Principal Thompson continued. "You've transformed the after-school program, you've brought the community together, and you've made a real difference in the lives of our students." She paused, her gaze steady and sincere. "We've been so fortunate to have you here, Michael, and we want you to stay." Michael's eyes widened in surprise. "We know that the part-time position is just a temporary solution," Principal Thompson explained, "and we believe that your talents and skills are too valuable to let go to waste. So we'd like to offer you a full-time position at the school." Michael was speechless. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. "We have an opening for a community outreach coordinator," Principal Thompson continued. "You would be responsible for developing and implementing programs that connect the school with the local community, building partnerships, and fostering a sense of belonging. We think you'd be perfect for the role." She leaned forward, her expression hopeful. "So, what do you say, Michael? Will you consider joining us full-time?" Michael was overwhelmed with gratitude and excitement. He had found his place, his purpose, and his calling. He couldn't imagine working anywhere else. "Yes," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "I would love to accept the full-time position." Michael, now confident in his abilities and deeply grateful for the opportunity, happily accepted the full-time job. He knew this was more than just a job. It was a chance to build a better future for himself and Lily, a chance to make a lasting impact on his community. He couldn't wait to tell Lily the good news. He knew she would be thrilled. That evening, as they sat down for dinner, Michael shared his exciting news. Lily squealed with delight, jumping up from her chair and hugging him tightly. "That's amazing, Dad," she exclaimed. "I'm so happy for you." Michael smiled, his heart overflowing with joy. He had finally found a career that he loved, a job that allowed him to spend more time with his daughter, and a community that embraced him with open arms. He thought back to that day just a few months ago, when he had arrived late to Lily's parent-teacher conference, feeling like a failure as a father. He had been so stressed, so overwhelmed, so consumed by work that he had almost lost sight of what truly mattered: Lily's happiness. But thanks to a surprising proposal from Principal Thompson, everything had changed. He had taken a leap of faith, embraced the unknown, and discovered his hidden potential. He had transformed his life, and in doing so, he had transformed Lily's life as well. As he looked at Lily's smiling face, he knew that he had made the right decision. He was finally home, surrounded by love, support, and a sense of belonging. He was ready to embrace the future, confident that together, he and Lily could overcome any obstacle. Their journey had just begun. They were a team, a family, and they were unstoppable.